In 1965, Salvador Dali, a leading figure in surrealism, is captured in a historical photograph with actress Raquel Welch. In this iconic image, Dali is seen kissing Welch's hand while she is dressed in a bikini. This rare photo highlights the intersection of art and cinema, showcasing the admiration between Dali and Welch. Many sources fail to clarify the truth behind this historical image. This famous photograph of Nikola Tesla seated next to his magnifying transmitter in his laboratory is often misinterpreted. While the image appears to show Tesla working amid dramatic electrical discharges, the lightning bolts were actually added through a long exposure trick. Tesla himself was not present during the electrical activity for safety reasons. The photograph was a carefully staged representation of his groundbreaking work with wireless electricity transmission. This historical photograph from around 1890 shows a young girl using prosthetic limbs crafted by Gillingham & Sons, a prominent British company known for its advancements in prosthetic technology. The rare photo highlights the innovative design and quality of early artificial limbs aimed at improving mobility and comfort for individuals with physical disabilities. In 1924, a photo captured a circus hippopotamus pulling a cart, highlighting a unique aspect of early 20th century circus entertainment. This image reflects the era's use of exotic animals in performances, showcasing how circuses incorporated unusual acts to attract audiences. The practice of featuring large animals in such roles was a popular form of entertainment at the time, though contemporary views on animal welfare now criticize these practices. This historical photograph features a fascinating object from the early 20th century, a shotgun used for duck hunting. The old photo captures not only a popular sporting practice of the era, but also showcases the technologies and manufacturing methods of weaponry at that time. This type of shotgun was essential for hunters pursuing waterfowl, reflecting a common recreational activity in the period. This image provides insight into the evolution of hunting equipment and the lifestyle of hunters from that era. In this 1911 photograph, Taylor and Wright of the Terra Nova expedition are seen at the entrance of an ice grotto near Cape Evans, with the Terra Nova ship anchored in the background. The image captures a striking ice formation, formed by the harsh Antarctic conditions, showcasing the expedition's exploration of the region. The Terra Nova expedition, led by Robert Falcon Scott, aimed to reach the South Pole and conduct scientific research. In a historical old photo from 1946 in Romania, we observe a traditional practice where a bear is used to relieve back pain. This image captures a moment in local folk medicine where the weight and strength of the bear were believed to help alleviate discomfort and muscle tension. Despite being unconventional, this technique reflects a unique aspect of traditional medicine in certain rural areas of Romania at the time. On October 1, 1940, in New Westminster, Canada, Claude P. Detloff captured the iconic photograph, "Wait for Me, Daddy." The image shows a young boy breaking away from his mother's grasp to run toward his father, Corporal Steve Vogt, who was departing for World War II. This poignant moment reflects the emotional impact of wartime separations on families. Corporal Vogt was killed in action on August 19, 1942, during the Battle of Dieppe. Captured in 1938 in England, this old photo shows a woman pushing a gas-proof pram, designed to protect infants from potential chemical attacks. This image reflects the heightened tensions and war preparations of the time, illustrating how everyday life was being adapted in response to the threat of chemical warfare. Among the intriguing inventions of the 20th century, the baby cages from 1937 stand out for their unusual design. Developed for urban apartments lacking outdoor space, these structures aim to provide children with necessary exposure to sunlight and fresh air. Attached securely to windows, they offered a safe, albeit now somewhat unconventional solution for limited living spaces. This innovation reflects the parenting practices and urban planning concerns of its time. In 1912, this photograph documents an early attempt to improve safety in rugby through the introduction of a new helmet design. This innovation represents a significant step in the development of sports safety equipment. The testing of this early rugby helmet reflects the broader historical effort to enhance player protection and safety in contact sports. This historical photo from 1888 in the Netherlands vividly illustrates a poignant symbol of love transcending religious boundaries. The photo depicts the graves of Colonel J.W.C. Van Gorkum, a Protestant, and his wife, J.C.P.H. Van Wefferden, a Catholic. Despite being buried in separate sections of the cemetery, him in the Protestant area and her in the Catholic section, her grave was intentionally positioned close to the wall, separating their resting places. In 1969, this historical photo captures the vast crowd at the Woodstock Festival. Held on a farm in New York, the photo showcases the convergence of hundreds of thousands of music lovers, peace advocates, and cultural enthusiasts. This historical, iconic moment represents one of the most significant symbols of 1960s counterculture, reflecting the era's spirit of unity and revolution through music and communal ideals. Photographer Charles de Salinac's iconic print captures a dramatic scene from the Brooklyn Bridge, showing painters at work while suspended in harnesses. This historical old photo captures the daring efforts of the workers maintaining the bridge's appearance high above the city. The photograph from January 1919 shows a pole climbing class for telephone electricians at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. This vocational training session, part of the Student Army Training Corps, highlights the technical and physical skills necessary for working with telephone lines. The image features students and instructors practicing pole climbing techniques, emphasizing the importance of safety and proficiency in telecommunications work during that period. In 1958, Bianca Passarge, at age 17, performed a striking act in Hamburg by dancing on bottles while wearing a cat costume. This performance is notable for its innovative balance and skill, reflecting the experimental art scene of the late 1950s. The image highlights Passarge's contribution to performance art, showcasing a blend of physical prowess and creative expression. This photograph from the 1940s shows a barber using an axe for shaving, creating a striking and unusual image. While the exact context is unclear, it may have been part of a promotional stunt, a lumberjack-themed event, or a humorous take on grooming practices. This photo offers a glimpse into the creative and eccentric elements of the era, blending humor with the cultural context of the time. In 1948, Fritz Egli, a Swiss engineer and motor racing pioneer, was involved in an attempt to set a new world speed record. The photograph captures this high-speed record attempt, highlighting the era's emphasis on pushing speed limits despite significant safety risks. Egli's work with the Egli-Vincent motorcycle during this period reflects the bold pursuit of speed records and the technological advancements of the time. This historical photo from 1923 showcases the testing of early bulletproof vests, a groundbreaking development in personal safety technology. The photo depicts testers evaluating the vest's effectiveness against gunfire, marking a significant advancement in protective gear. These early vests, subjected to rigorous tests, represented a major technological leap designed to safeguard lives in dangerous situations. Captured on May 6, 1937, the iconic photograph of the Hindenburg disaster depicts the German airship engulfed in flames as it attempted to land at Lakehurst, New Jersey. The Hindenburg, a Zeppelin designed for transatlantic flights, was one of the largest airships ever built. The disaster resulted in the loss of 36 lives and marked a pivotal moment in aviation history. In the early 20th century, pilot Merle Larson is captured in a remarkable photograph where he manually restarts an aircraft engine in flight. This image from the 1920s demonstrates the technical challenges and hands-on nature of early aviation. Larson's act of restarting the engine while airborne reflects the rudimentary technology and operational risks of the era. In 1928, a notable old photo captured Brooklyn Supreme, a Clydesdale horse recognized for its extraordinary size. Standing over approximately 6 feet 8 inches and weighing around 3,200 pounds, Brooklyn Supreme exemplified the immense scale and strength of the Clydesdale breed. In 1990, during a period of significant turmoil in Armenia, a historical photo captures a 106-year-old Armenian woman standing guard outside her home. Amidst the backdrop of conflict and upheaval, this iconic photo showcases her remarkable resilience and strength. The image reflects her determination to protect her home and heritage despite the challenging circumstances. This rare photo was taken in 1933 and shows a thylacine named Benjamin, housed in the Hobart Zoo in Tasmania. The thylacine, a marsupial predator native to Tasmania, Australia, and New Guinea, was officially declared extinct in the 1980s, with its decline attributed to excessive hunting, habitat destruction, and disease. In 1937, a rare photograph captures a young Dalai Lama at just 2 years old. This historical image presents the spiritual leader at the beginning of his journey, foreshadowing his future global influence and significance. The photograph captures a historic moment in Sweden on the morning following the 1967 switch, from driving on the left to the right. This significant transition aimed to align the country with most European nations and enhance road safety. The image reveals the initial confusion on the streets as drivers adapted to the new traffic rules. In the 1910 photograph, we see the original figure of Bibendum, better known as the Michelin Man. Created as the mascot for the Michelin Tire Company, the image captures Bibendum made from several tires, showcasing his wide smile and distinctive corpulent silhouette. This iconic representation helped establish him as a globally recognized figure in advertising. In July 1954, during the Miss World competition held in Long Beach, a notable incident occurred when the New Zealand contestant fainted, adding an unexpected element to the event. This occurrence not only shocked the audience, but also highlighted the intense pressure faced by contestants in such global beauty pageants. This historical photo captures a behind-the-scenes moment at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer in the early days of cinema. The rare photo shows the MGM lion Leo being filmed for the studio's iconic logo sequence. The image highlights the historical iconic moment when the lion's roar was recorded for the famous opening that precedes many classic MGM films. This historical photograph from 1903 shows William Harley and Arthur Davidson testing the first Harley-Davidson motorcycles. The rare photo captures a pivotal moment in transportation history, marking the launch of what would become an iconic American motorcycle brand. The image reveals the early stages of Harley-Davidson's development, highlighting the innovative design and engineering that set the foundation for the company's renowned reputation. In 1901, Annie Edison Taylor accomplished something extraordinary by becoming the first person to survive a descent over Niagara Falls inside a barrel. This daring feat defied not only the fierce nature of the falls, but also societal expectations of what a woman could achieve at that time. Taylor, a schoolteacher, meticulously planned the event with hopes of gaining fame and fortune. Although she did not achieve the wealth she anticipated, her bravery left a lasting impact on the history of daring adventures. This historical photo from the 1944 Battle of Saipan captures a rare moment of calm amidst the chaos of war. The rare photo shows a U.S. Marine sharing bananas with a goat during a brief pause in the fighting. This scene reveals the persistent humanity of soldiers even in the harshest conditions and emphasizes the often overlooked connections between humans and animals during wartime. The moment provides insight into the daily life of soldiers and underscores how small gestures of kindness could offer comfort and solace in the midst of intense conflict. In the early 1900s, in Taylor County, Wisconsin, men are photographed displaying a stack of logs over 30 feet high. This image highlights the logging industry's significance during this period. The large log piles reflect the scale of timber operations essential to Wisconsin's economy. In 1964, a significant image captured racial tensions in the United States. A hotel owner was photographed pouring acid into a swimming pool to remove black individuals who were swimming there. This act of segregation occurred during the Civil Rights Movement, reflecting the severe opposition to racial integration. The individual in the photograph was James Brock, the manager of the Monson Motor Lodge in St. Augustine, Florida. In 1953, this historical photograph from Las Vegas shows a mother and her child closely observing a mushroom cloud formation after an atomic test. The old photo captures the unsettling normalization of nuclear testing, illustrating how such events were viewed as part of daily life during the Cold War era. In this 1950s image, Audrey Hepburn is seen with a deer in a market, reflecting her unique connection with animals and her affinity for the natural world. Hepburn, renowned for her film career and humanitarian work, is depicted here showcasing a side of her life outside the spotlight. Hepburn's later work as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador further emphasized her commitment to humanitarian causes and her compassion for all living beings. In 1907, Annette Kellerman boldly challenged social norms by advocating for women's right to wear form-fitting one-piece swimsuits. Her provocative stance, which marked a significant step toward gender equality and women's comfort, resulted in her arrest for indecency. This historical photo vividly captures a pivotal moment of cultural confrontation and social change, highlighting a milestone in the history of women's rights and fashion. This photograph captures a tender moment in the life of Peggy Kennedy, a 3-year-old polio patient. She lies in bed using a plastic chest respirator to assist her breathing, while her joy is evident as she watches ducklings swim in a nearby tub. The simple pleasure of this moment contrasts with the gravity of her medical condition, offering a glimpse into the ways in which comfort and distraction were brought into the lives of children facing serious illnesses during the polio epidemic. This image speaks to the resilience of young patients and the efforts made to provide them with moments of happiness amidst their struggles. Captured in 1947, this historical photo shows Arctic explorer Peter Freuchen with his wife. Freuchen, a prominent figure in Arctic exploration, had one of his legs amputated in 1926 due to severe frostbite. The photo highlights his remarkable resilience and ongoing dedication to exploration. This historical image from December 1961 shows the Beatles performing at the Aldershot Club, playing to a tiny audience of just 18 people. The rare photo captures a significant moment before the band's rise to global fame. In just over a year, the Beatles would transition from these modest gigs to achieving international stardom. This old photo from 1961 shows Disneyland employees in their staff cafeteria, capturing a rare behind-the-scenes look at the park. The photo highlights the workers taking a break, reflecting the camaraderie and exhaustion of those who contribute to creating Disneyland's magic. This historical old photo from 1940 depicts a London bookstore in ruins after an air raid. The image shows broken shelves and scattered books, capturing the destruction inflicted by wartime bombings. This historical moment highlights the impact of the Blitz on cultural landmarks and everyday life. In 1955, immersed in a world of music, customers explore an exciting collection in a London record shop. Though the world was experiencing rapid changes at the time, the passion for music and the discovery of new sounds made this space a significant cultural meeting point. The vibrant and innovative spirit of the decade is perfectly reflected in this bustling environment, where music lovers connected over the latest tunes. This photo from the 1930s shows Salvador Dali, the influential surrealist artist known for his dreamlike imagery, and Coco Chanel, the pioneering fashion designer who revolutionized women's fashion with her elegant modern designs, sharing a lighter. The rare photo highlights their intersection, reflecting the impact of their work on each other's creative domains. In 1967, a shocking and powerful photograph captured the moment a utility worker, in an act of desperate courage and compassion, performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on a colleague who had been electrocuted after coming into contact with a high-voltage wire. This historical photograph not only documents a critical moment of survival and solidarity in the workplace, but also highlights the daily dangers faced by these professionals. The quick thinking and actions of the rescuer exemplify true heroism amidst extremely perilous circumstances. In Chicago in 1948, a photograph captures a stark and revealing moment. It shows a mother, overwhelmed by economic hardship, hiding her face in shame as she seemingly advertises the sale of her own children. This image serves as a powerful reminder of the desperate measures some families felt compelled to take in the face of severe financial crisis. While the authenticity of the situation has been debated, the photograph remains a poignant symbol of the extremities to which people were driven during tough economic times. Hannah Stilley, reportedly born in 1746, was photographed in 1840. If this image is authentic, it could be one of the earliest photographs of a person born in the 18th century. Having lived through key historical moments, such as the American independence, her captured expression offers a rare glimpse into the early days of the United States. This photograph serves as a unique window into the past, seen through the eyes of someone who witnessed the formation of a nation. On August 14, 1945, Alfred Eisenstadt captured a pivotal moment in Times Square, New York City, as a sailor kissed a nurse in celebration of VJ Day. The photograph, marking Japan's surrender and the end of World War II, symbolizes the widespread relief and joy of the era. The sailor, identified as George Mendonça, and the nurse, Greta Zimmer Friedman, represent the public's exuberance following the war's conclusion. In 1905, Norway, known for its icy fjords and snowy mountains, witnessed a significant event with the arrival of the first shipment of bananas. This marked the introduction of bananas to the Norwegian diet and signified a shift in global trade and consumption patterns. The event highlighted Norway's increasing integration into international food markets and the broader trend of global trade expansion, reflecting changes in the availability of exotic fruits in Northern Europe. In 1940, during the London bombings of World War II, a historical image captures a young girl sitting amidst the wreckage of her destroyed home, holding her doll. This rare photo vividly depicts the impact of the bombings on civilian life, showcasing both the physical destruction and the enduring innocence of childhood. In the 1950s, a notable photograph captures a young woman and her companion sharing a milkshake in a classic diner setting. This image exemplifies the social customs of the era, showcasing a popular leisure activity that became emblematic of the decade. The photograph reflects key aspects of 1950s American culture, including the rise of consumerism and the significance of diners in social life. In a powerful historical photograph taken in 1936 at a shipyard in Hamburg, Germany, August Landmesser stands with his arms crossed, refusing to perform the Nazi salute, surrounded by a crowd doing so. Landmesser's act of defiance stemmed from his relationship with Irma Eckler, a Jewish woman, which had already brought him into conflict with the Nazi regime. Despite their attempts to marry, the Nuremberg laws prohibited it. Landmesser was arrested for dishonoring the race and later sentenced to hard labor. His fate was tragic. He was drafted into a penal battalion and went missing in action in 1944, while Irma was sent to a concentration camp and perished. The 1896 Olympic Games in Athens marked the revival of the Olympic tradition, bringing ancient Greek athletic customs into the modern world. Among the notable events was the marathon, inspired by the legendary run from Marathon to Athens. In this photograph, athletes are seen making their way to the starting point of the marathon, a race that would test their endurance and determination. This historical photograph from the 1920s captures a moment when public fashion standards clashed with social norms. The photo shows officials measuring women's swimsuits on the beach to ensure compliance with regulations on acceptable lengths. These rules, designed to uphold public decency, often led to fines for women whose attire did not meet the established standards. Captured in 1912, this old photo is one of the final known images of the RMS Titanic before its sinking. The Titanic, a symbol of advanced engineering and luxury, embarked on its maiden voyage, but tragically struck an iceberg and sank on April 15, 1912. This historical photo shows Ned Parfit, a young newspaper seller, holding up a headline about the Titanic sinking on the streets of London in April 1912. The photo captures the immediate shock and grief that followed the disaster. Parfit's sign, which reads, "Titanic disaster, great loss of life," reflects the essential role newsboys played in delivering urgent news at that time. The historical iconic moment illustrates how historical images communicated major events to the public before the era of digital media. Tragically, Ned Parfit later served in World War I and died in 1918, just days before the war ended. This old photo remains a significant piece of history, demonstrating the impact of early news dissemination. The image from 1961 depicts a crucial moment in Cold War history: the construction of the Berlin Wall. This barrier, erected almost overnight by East German authorities, marked a definitive division between the communist Eastern Bloc and the capitalist West. The photograph captures the intense work involved, with laborers constructing the wall under the watchful eye of East German soldiers. This old photo from 1918 shows women delivering ice, an uncommon sight for the era. During World War I, with many men enlisted, women took on roles traditionally held by men. This image captures a significant social change, highlighting the adaptability and resilience of women during a time of crisis. In this historical old photo from 1932, workers are seen painting the Eiffel Tower, a task necessary to protect the structure from corrosion. The image highlights the massive scale of the monument, emphasizing the ongoing human effort required for its preservation. The 1937 photograph of 5 boys outside Lord's cricket ground vividly captures the class divide in pre-war Britain. The two boys in formal Harrow School uniforms, Peter Wagner and Thomas "Tim" Dyson, contrast sharply with the three working-class youths, George Salmon, Jack Catlin, and George Young, dressed in plain clothes. Wagner's life saw struggles with mental health, and he died in 1984, while Dyson, who tragically contracted diphtheria and died in 1938, was also affected by his father's subsequent wartime capture. In contrast, Salmon and Young lived into old age with relatively stable lives, while Catlin, who moved away and distanced himself from his past, lived until 2011. In the 1967 Boston Marathon, a significant historical photograph captures the moment when race official John Semple attempted to forcibly remove Kathrine Switzer from the course. As the first woman to officially enter the Boston Marathon, Switzer's participation was met with resistance from some race officials who were opposed to women running in marathons. In 1863, the Metropolitan Railway in London introduced the world's first underground train service, starting from Edgware Road Station. This pioneering event marked a significant technological advancement in urban transportation. The introduction of the Underground Railway revolutionized city commuting, showcasing a new model for mass transit systems. The Metropolitan Railway demonstrated the potential of subway systems, influencing the development of similar networks globally. In 1885, the arrival of the Statue of Liberty's head in New York marked a pivotal moment in the assembly of this iconic monument. The photograph depicts the head being unloaded from a massive crate, part of the statue's 350 pieces transported from France. This monumental gift, symbolizing freedom and democracy, was meticulously reassembled on Liberty Island. The detailed image underscores the complexity and scale of this historical project. In 1929, an image purported to show a group of young women reacting to a sex education class actually originates from the film The Wild Party. This movie, noted for its controversial content, features a scene depicting an educational discussion on intimate topics. The film's portrayal illustrates the period's changing attitudes toward personal education and societal norms, reflecting the increasing openness with which such subjects were being addressed at the time. This is one of the most striking portraits by German photographer Horst Foss. The photo depicts an unidentified U.S. soldier wearing a helmet with the inscription "War is Hell." Horst Foss, renowned for his extensive coverage of the Vietnam War, witnessed the brutal conflict firsthand. This iconic image captures the stark reality of war, highlighting Foss's poignant and powerful documentation of the Vietnam War. Captured in 1939, this photo shows Albert Einstein enjoying a quiet moment at Nassau Point, Long Island, New York. At this time, Einstein was settling into his new life in the United States after fleeing Nazi Germany in 1933. The year 1939 was pivotal for him, not only personally but also professionally. He was deeply involved in scientific advancements and geopolitical events, including signing the letter to President Roosevelt that prompted the initiation of the Manhattan Project. In 1958, Elvis Presley began his military service with the U.S. Army. The photograph from this period shows Presley in his Army uniform, highlighting a significant shift from his usual rock star image. This image captures Elvis in a disciplined setting, away from his music career, and underscores his commitment to military service. This photograph shows the models who posed for Grant Wood's iconic painting American Gothic. The painting, created in 1930, features Nan Wood Graham, the artist's sister, and Dr. Byron McKeeby, his dentist, as the farmer and his daughter. They are depicted with stern expressions, standing in front of a house with a distinctive Gothic-style window. American Gothic became a symbol of rural American life during the Great Depression. The 1930s photograph from the Great Depression depicts a modest Christmas meal consisting solely of turnips and cabbage. This old image highlights the impact of the economic downturn on daily life, illustrating how even traditional celebrations were marked by scarcity and hardship. In 1960, a powerful photograph captured Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. removing a burned cross from his yard, an act of intimidation by the Ku Klux Klan. This image depicts King and his young son dealing with the aftermath of a hate crime intended to threaten and intimidate him due to his civil rights activism. This old photo shows a young girl in a controlled environment, interacting with a penguin. The photograph highlights the mutual curiosity between the child and the penguin, underscoring the importance of wildlife education and the need for proper handling of animals in captivity. Imagine the relief and pure joy of a child after years of hardship. This photograph captures the moment a young Austrian boy receives a new pair of shoes during World War II. In times of extreme scarcity and difficulty, a simple pair of shoes becomes a symbol of hope and joy for the boy, lighting up his face with a smile that transcends the shadows of war. This frozen moment highlights the human ability to find happiness even in the most challenging circumstances. The 1984 photograph of Drew Barrymore lighting a cigarette for Stephen King captures a notable moment during the filming of Firestarter, a film adaptation of King's novel. Barrymore, then a child actress, was cast as the lead in the film, while King, the author, visited the set to contribute his insights. This historical photograph from 1927 captures Christopher Robin with his teddy bear, the real inspiration behind Winnie the Pooh, a character created by A.A. Milne. The image reflects the connection between the boy and his toy, which became the basis for Milne's stories. The bear, initially called Edward, was later renamed Winnie, after a black bear Christopher saw at the London Zoo. In the photograph, Ernest Hemingway is depicted in a bar, embodying the adventurous spirit that defined his life. Renowned for his influential writing, Hemingway won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954 and authored classics like The Old Man and the Sea. His experiences as an ambulance driver in World War I, a war correspondent during the Spanish Civil War, and his deep passion for fishing and hunting greatly influenced his literary works. Captured in the 1970s, this photograph shows young women walking in Kabul, Afghanistan, during a period of social and cultural liberalization. Under the rule of the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, the country experienced reforms that included greater freedoms for women, such as increased visibility in public life and participation in education and professions. In 1950, an image captures the introduction of Coke to post-war France. This photo highlights a significant moment in the brand's global expansion, marking Coke's entry into the French market. The image reflects the broader cultural exchange between the United States and France during this period. In this historical photograph, Georges Blind, a brave member of the French resistance during World War II, stands smiling in front of a German firing squad. This image, taken in 1943, captures the essence of resilience and defiance under extreme oppression. Despite facing a mock execution designed to intimidate him into revealing critical information, Blind's smile radiates an unshakable resolve. His refusal to give in, even under the psychological threat of death, makes this rare photograph a powerful symbol of resistance against the Nazis. Blind's legacy continues to inspire, representing the courage of countless individuals who resisted tyranny during the war. In this 1916 photograph, Charlie Chaplin, at 27 years old, is depicted in a moment from his early film career. Although not in his signature tramp costume, this image represents a significant period in Chaplin's rise as a major figure in silent cinema. By this time, he was already well established in the film industry and made substantial contributions to comedy and filmmaking. In 1922, the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb by Howard Carter became a milestone in archaeology, offering a rare glimpse into ancient Egyptian history. One photograph, in particular, captured the moment when the tomb's seal was found unbroken after 3,245 years. This image became symbolic of the untouched secrets held within, adding an air of mystery and excitement to the find. When the tomb was finally opened, Carter uncovered an astounding array of treasures, including the golden funerary mask of Tutankhamun. The historical photograph of the sealed entrance encapsulates the preservation of ancient knowledge, and the tomb's contents continue to be a subject of fascination and study, marking a significant historical event in Egyptology. The image of the seal and the discovery that followed became an iconic moment, cementing Tutankhamun's legacy as one of the most famous pharaohs in history.